Okay, today I'd like to talk about a topic that's dear to just about everybody who's in the strength game, or I should say in sports, and that is strength. All athletes need strength. See, I have to preface some of these comments from what I'm going to be making later on. I want you all to understand that strength is one of the most important characters or qualities that an athlete needs. Without strength, or additional strength, an athlete would never be completely successful. He can be successful. Go back to the days when strength training was a no-no, and that includes me. When I was playing collegiate ball, if we were ever caught in a weight room, we were cut off the squad. You could not go to a gym. You could not lift weights. Well, today, you say, how in the world could they be that stupid? Well, this is the way it was. So today, I think we've gone a little overboard with the strength training. It's so important that everybody focuses only on strength training, and we forget so many other physical qualities and other elements that are equally important. Let's go back and clarify a little bit. We need strength. All athletes have to strength train every year, not necessarily all year long, but every year they should be gaining more strength. They should be maintaining the strength throughout the year. No question about that. But now the critical factor is, how do you strength training? What modalities are you going to be using? This becomes the key to success. Today, the emphasis seems to be on powerlifting, Olympic lifting, and bodybuilding. These are the three major modalities that you'll find in use with athletes. Even in the pros, you read about a pitcher, for example, Clayton Richard. He's a bodybuilder and probably a powerlifter. I don't know the entire program, but from all indications, because they talk about how buffed he is, and he gets more and more buffed every year, it implies that he's doing bodybuilding. Or it could be a combination. Now in bodybuilding, the objective is to get stronger and to create more mass. These are the two consequences from bodybuilding. Take a look at bodybuilders. And forget the steroid use now. We're dealing only with the weight training that is being done. Powerlifting. This is probably the #1 method being used. Powerlifting is good. You're going to get stronger, but also bigger. But powerlifting is also too limited. It's essentially are doing 3 lifts: deadlift, bench, and squat. All excellent exercises. Nothing wrong with them. All very important. But they don't, contrary to popular opinion, develop all of the muscles of the body. For example, you're doing a squat and deadlift, you're going to get a stronger back. But it's a static position of the back. It's not a dynamic strength of the back through the full range of motion. Athletes need the dynamic action, not static. So powerlifting is ignoring a very important part of the body, strong backs. Now, it gets the hamstring in the deadlift, which is good. But it's not getting total hamstring development or developing the muscle from both ends in sequence the way we would in the glute-ham gastroc raise, which is now used quite a bit in powerlifting, so we can see it there. It's also used maybe in bodybuilding and extensively in weightlifting. This is for the very first use of that glute-ham gastroc raise. It was with the Russians, or I should say the Soviets, way back in the days when they dominated Olympic weightlifting. And Olympic weightlifting is the 3rd method being used. And Olympic weightlifting is great. There's nothing wrong with these activities. They're phenomenal. In each one, you are going to get stronger. Many proponents of Olympic weightlifting say that it is also more specific to sports. It develops, some of the biomechanical characteristics, which in a way is true, but only for jumpers. If we take a look at the neuromuscular patterning in Olympic weightlifting, we see full leg extension. Full leg extension is good in jumping, and that's the only place. We don't see it in any other sports. So each of these methods has limitations. So we can't say one is better than the other. They all have some great points. So what we have to do in strength training is maybe do a combination of all of these three. But before that, we have to address another very specific point. And this should be the #1 method of strength training. And that's specialized exercises. Now we have to explain what this means. In a specialized exercise, you duplicate the technique involved in execution of the sports skill. So a baseball batter, where that one action that we're developing, let's say shoulder rotation, where does that shoulder rotation come from? Rotation, it uses the abdominal oblique muscles. So we have to create an exercise that duplicates the movement of the shoulders to strengthen the abdominal oblique muscles through the full range of motion as they're used in hitting, in exactly the same pattern. Now we're developing strength that will have an immediate effect on batting. Should be the main method, but only after you developed a general strength base. The general strength base is your combination of powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, bodybuilding. Use any method you want, as well as other methods. There may be a composite of some of these. Like for specificity, I use many exercises with rubber tubing. This is how I developed the active cord set. This is how we can duplicate the neuromuscular patterns involved in many skills in sports. You can't do this with powerlifting or Olympic weightlifting or bodybuilding. Impossible. So let's take a look at some of the methods. Let's use the methods that's most appropriate at the time. In the off season, athletes not playing, then let's get stronger. Use any method you want. But develop the whole body. Don't ignore certain joints or muscles. Getting all the big major muscles the way they do in powerlifting is not going to create an athlete free from injury. Because where do the injuries typically occur? The small, usually ignored muscles. So to develop the strength base, we have to develop all of the muscles of the body. This is what the off season is for. You're not going to be competing. Get strong. Make sure your body's not going to be prone to an injury. See, and once you develop the strength base, and you're doing some specificity work at the same time, because you never want to ignore the key elements of your sport or the key skills. For example, if you're a baseball pitcher, you need a break. Take a break. Don't pitch for a while. But then you want to do some pitching all year long. You never want to leave it completely. So you want to do exercises specific to the pitching on a year-round basis. If you're a runner, or any athlete that has to run in a sport, you want to do exercises specific to your running, in addition to this strength base, this general strength base. And as you do this, you're going to see the greatest progress in your sports performance. We're not concerned with, or you should not be concerned with, your stats. Somebody increased I increased my squat by 100 pounds. Big deal. What are you going to do with this? You can place it on a wall, or you can put it in the outhouse. How does it make you a better athlete? That's what you should be asking yourself. So this is why we don't want strength for the sake of strength. We want strength that's going to enable you to perform better as an athlete. Unless you don't consider yourself an athlete, then it's fine. Do whatever you want. But we're addressing athletes now. So if you want to be a serious athlete and make good progress in your sport, this is what it's going to take.